give you some breaking news now. Qatar's Interior Ministry has announced that 6 have been killed in a helicopter crash off the coast in Qatar's territorial waters. Apparently, there's still one person still missing, whose status is unclear. Earlier, Qatar's Defence Ministry had said that the helicopter had crashed after suffering a technical malfunction during a routine duty. Saudi Arabia has given the Iranian military attaché and 4 other diplomats 24 hours to leave the country as Iran keeps up attacks on its Gulf neighbours. The Saudi Ministry of Defence saying armed forces have intercepted 1 missile while 2 others hit an uninhabited area. Kuwait and the United Arab Emirates have also been carrying out several interceptions. Al Jazeera's Zein Basravi is in Dubai for us. We want to talk to you, of course, about the latest Gulf attacks, but we also have this news after this search that has been going on for the crew in that helicopter, that apparently 6 are now recognised as having been killed in that crash, Zein.
Gulf Arab leaders that have been trying to bring an end to this war, that tried to stop it in the first place, have described conflict as expansive. The longer it goes on, the bigger it gets. And we saw that. Reporting from Doha, it was noticeable, the amount of military aircraft in the sky, including helicopters. The volume of it went up. And when you have an expansive conflict like this, the risk of technical malfunctions, the risk of accidents also goes up, and that's what we're seeing here today. Qatar's Ministry of Defense did announce that there was a routine mission that saw the helicopter go down in the waters across the coast, and now the Ministry of Interior confirming that 6 people have been killed. I'll just read a bit of the statement to you. The Ministry of Interior announces that within the framework of ongoing search and rescue operations for missing persons, following the helicopter crash in the state's territorial waters, search efforts have resulted in finding 6 out of 7 who were on board. So it seems 1 person remains missing. The death of those who were found has been confirmed, with specialized teams continuing their intensive operations to find the last missing person. And the Ministry of Interior then has extended sympathies to the families of the deceased. So a really unnecessary tragedy that would not have happened if this conflict wasn't underway. And what we are seeing is that with every day that it carries on, the conflict is becoming more complex and more chaotic in this sense. We've also heard from the Iranian Revolutionary Guard that have confirmed that their retaliatory strikes have been ongoing and have been targeting places in the UAE. They say U.S. bases in Ali Al Salim in Kuwait, Al Minhad in the UAE, Al Dhafra Air Base in the UAE have been targeted by Fatah Qadr and Imad missiles. This is an indication that, again, the conflict is evolving. They're using more precise, more heavy weapons, more complex missile systems. The UAE has been responding to missile and drone attacks since last night into this morning. Similarly, stories in Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia responding to 60 different drone attacks over the course of 24 hours. In Sharjah, an explosion reported off a vessel in the waters off the coast of Sharjah, about 28 kilometers from Sharjah. A bulk carrier described an explosion from an unknown projectile close proximity to the vessel. No crew was harmed in that, but again, mirrors similar explosions we've seen on oil tankers, cargo vessels, bulk carriers happening off the coast of Oman and the UAE in recent days. So as long as this carries on, it will continue to become expansive, as leaders in the GCC have warned, trying to call for a close to fighting as soon as possible.
Zein, Iran still stressing, of course, that it's not attacking these Gulf countries, but U.S. interests which are based there. We were just reporting Saudi Arabia has given an Iranian military attaché and 4 other diplomats 24 hours to leave the country because of attacks there. How is this being perceived in the region?
Well, the GCC has completely rejected Iran's geostrategic logic here. Perhaps from a military perspective, it makes sense for Iran to attack U.S. bases wherever they are in the region, but there is a greater gray area here. These assets, these so-called assets that Iran accuses these countries of hosting, that are being used as staging grounds for attacks on Iran, GCC countries deny that that's the case, say that they've not allowed any U.S. bases to be used since even before the war began for any attacks on Iran. Trust gap, neither side really believing the version of events of the other. But GCC countries completely are livid over this and have rejected Iran's logic here. We've just gotten a statement from the Secretary General of the Gulf Cooperation Council saying the continued Iranian attacks on GCC member states reveal the Iranian government's escalatory approach towards these countries, not towards U.S. assets or bases, towards these countries, and constitute an unacceptable act of aggression. Iranian attacks attempting to hold GCC member states responsible for any military operations, and these claims are baseless unacceptable. The GCC member states reserve their full and guaranteed right to take all necessary measures and actions to protect their security and stability. That last part they've been saying all along, and mostly it's been diplomatic messaging. But what we are likely to see if this carries on much longer is GCC countries taking a more defensive posture, a more militarily defensive posture, and what people are in the region fearing will be an escalation that might become inevitable if Iran continues to attack, is if the GCC countries start taking an active role, less than a defensive response, but an active military approach in confronting these attacks from Iran.
Zein Basravi in Dubai, thank you very much.